Thank the panel for sharing with us today your thoughts on this most important issue. Back in Oregon, where I'm from, legislators have contacted me and asked what we're going to do in this space. Their primary concern is preemption. And so, Mr. Thayer, starting with you, one of the questions that's been asked is that several states, California, Utah, Arkansas, Texas, Florida, have passed or are implementing laws that require parental consent, default time limits, curfews, or age verification for minors. If this bill preempts those laws, but does not itself impose comparable restrictions, aren't you effectively asking Congress to shield business models from the very protection states have decided children need?
So on the issue of preemption, obviously it's a sticky wicket and something that we have to take heavy thought in. I actually agree a lot with Ms. Ruane's, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, statements when it comes to the relates to standard. I like a more conflict type of preemption and be a little bit clearer about what it's conflicting out. And so at Digital Products Institute, we're very interested in narrow preemptions. And so again, happy to work with your office, and I'm sure other folks as well would like to work with you as well to figure out exactly how to straddle that line.
Mr. Berkman, your thoughts?
On the App Store Accountability Act specifically?
No, on the thought of if we act here, as we are going to, I hope, to protect children, and we include in that packet of legislation preemption of states getting involved, how do we explain to the states that we've gone to the very top level of protection when many would say, no, you haven't? In other words, how does this preemption piece fit? And how do we justify it here in Congress by saying to states like my Oregon, saying, hey, we have it right, and you guys can just watch?
Yeah, so we make this analysis on a bill-by-bill basis, and our calculus is very clear. We're looking for a robust national framework that improves social media safety in the totality of the circumstances. And so we will move bill by bill in that analysis.
Well, when I was thinking this through, and I haven't given it enough thought, I'll admit that right off, it seemed to me that it was a commerce issue, right? You had 51 different approaches, 50-50, depending upon who you count as states and who aren't. The question is, why would we say we in Congress want to take this upon ourselves when we're basically established a ceiling as opposed to a floor? That's how the question's been put to me back by my legislators.
It really is. In our view, it's a bill-by-bill analysis. In some pieces of legislation, like Sammy's law, preemption is non-controversial, bipartisan, and makes a lot of sense. And so we're looking at the end of the day, where are we going to get the most protection for children, and what is the analysis per bill?
So your thought would be, look at each bill, measure each bill, and go from there. And then somehow you can go back to the states and say, well, we may not have taken care of it here, but we have over there. That takes us nicely to the remarks made by my colleague, Mr. Obernolte, where he was talking about the difference between a general duty as opposed to specific things that you can't do. Share with me why one is better than the other. The broad general duty, undefined, although we hope we could, as opposed to calling out specific practices that are not allowed.
In terms of a duty of care?
Yeah, but tell me which one's better for the protection of the child.
I mean, our focus today is on the legislation in front of us, and we're desperately trying to seek consensus on legislation that moves social media safety forward. And so right now, we're not looking at a broad level duty of care in the hearing today.
Well, ignoring that attempt to not answer my question, which one do you think is better, or is it a combination of the two? Or because as a lawyer, I understand how great it is to have a specific, clear standard that you then have to prove, as opposed to a broad, general thing that you're, shooting at as you're bringing witnesses in. Which one do you think is better?
I mean, it's really hard to answer in the hypothetical. We support language, specific language that is going to give the most robust, workable protection for children at the end of the day. We want language that can pass Congress. We want language that's going to stand, be implemented, and enforced.
Thank you. Thank all of you for being here. Yield back.